What is up, folks? And we are live. So I have been kind of observing what has been happening in the markets of late, and I've come to a few theories, right, on why we are having this extremely hard sell down. Initially, we all thought, okay, 6,000 was more or less it. Happy times are going to be coming. December, Santa Claus rally and all that. So we were anticipating a better at least we were almost thinking that we were gonna have a better Christmas, right? We thought that the worst was behind us, and this happened. So before I kind of go into the whole theory, or at least my thoughts on why this market is currently selling down, I think there are already folks that have theories on what has been happening in the market. So I think I want to kind of want to put out a few things. Firstly, I have thoughts on what's been happening with miners, Bitcoin Cash, of course. What do the institutions really want? And of course, what do the consumers really want, or at least the retail investors, what do they really want? So I have a few theories that I'm going to be highlighting today, and I was just wondering, where are you at in terms of your sentiment right now? Are you definitely someone who is extremely, you're done? You're really done with the market? You don't want to ever touch the cryptocurrency market ever again? Are you someone who has been sitting on cash, wondering what this space is all about? Do you find the price extremely attractive as of now? Or you're someone who completely has, been completely not optimistic about the market, as in the cryptocurrency market, and you finally have your proof, right? Because all the while you have already believed that the cryptocurrency markets were volatile. That is, of course, a given. And all the traders love this very, very volatile market. It is one of the best vehicles, especially in terms of an asset class, that can give you this kind of volatility on a daily basis. Now, here's my thoughts. So we all had we just recently had the whole Bitcoin Cash fiasco, right? Apparently, twice every year or every 6 months, I would assume that there will be some kind of voting where the Bitcoin Cash folks, or even the Bitcoin network, can kind of decide on what is the direction that we have to take. So, I don't want to go into it, because I'm sure a lot of YouTubers have already covered it. So I, for once, started to do a little bit of reading, and I realized how silly this whole thing was. The reason, correct me if I'm wrong, please, guys, comment if, Ryan, you got it all wrong. But correct me if I'm wrong, that the reason why this fork occurred is because Craig Wright, aka Satoshi himself, right, says that he wants to increase it to a 128 megabyte block. And so because of his aspirations for not having what he wanted, and there was no support from the Jihan Roger Ver camp, right? You're having this fork that is causing the whole market to get rattled at the moment. So one thing, it just goes to show who is really in control of the network at the moment. The miners are obviously really much in control, pretty much in control, because the moment they started shifting their hashing power to prove a point and to support Bitcoin Cash ABC, right? This happens, and the whole Bitcoin market starts to tank. Then, of course, you start seeing articles on the cost of Bitcoin, how much is it going to cost, blah, blah, blah. And then you're seeing a lot of folks starting to chant 3K, 2K, 1K all over again. Okay, from my standpoint, yes, I find that it's really ridiculous. It's a joke, because from the start, right, we had 100 over billion Bitcoin network. Now, because of all this, you have a $77 billion Bitcoin network. And as this continues, this power struggle continues, you're having the Bitcoin price and the overall market, of course, just diving each and every hour to even every day. It's really ridiculous. So here are my personal thoughts on this. I think as long as this space doesn't get its act together, as in the people behind all this don't get their act together, eventually companies will just pull away from this whole fiasco of using Bitcoin. That means Bitcoin will just function on its own purely as a store of value. Obviously, we all know by now, it will never be a currency. Just look at the way it is. Initially, it was, right? Initially, it was intended to be a currency, a decentralized currency. Everything was able to be validated, mining rewards for supporting the network and validating transactions, heal the world, all of us hold hands and hopefully we can have, something of value going forward. But obviously, this is not just the very first market cycle. There are going to be many market cycles, apparently, before the halving comes. So, right now, Bitcoin obviously is not serving the purpose that it's supposed to be serving. Hence, we have Roger Ver, Jihan Wu, and Craig Wright coming up with the solution, which is Bitcoin Cash. We are going to make it more user-friendly for everybody, and we're going to be making sure that more merchants will be adopting more transactions, cheaper, blah, 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 blah. But if you were someone who has, been really into the whole Bitcoin Cash, right? So here's the joke. Okay, so let's go to Bitcoin Cash's chart, and I'll show you what I mean. So if you were someone who obviously supports Bitcoin Cash. You see where they're coming from. Okay, so you are a consumer. You topped up your prepaid card or your wallet with Bitcoin Cash. Okay, your currency in your country doesn't work. Okay, it just doesn't work, and you just want to use an alternative. You felt that Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin would be the answer to my failing currency. Little did you know that when you topped up your card, when Bitcoin Cash was maybe at $600, today, when you finally opened up your wallet and wanted to buy more groceries with it, 50% of that value has just evaporated. Because this is the future of currency, guys, where you are seeing for the fact that your currency, although it transacts cheaper, right, is now 50% of the value. So if this is the currency that Roger, Craig, and Jihan really thought of, well, obviously it's not working out, okay? Clearly from that standpoint. And therefore, we will see the emergence of stablecoins. Very simple, guys. If you topped up your card or your wallet that is meant to be for buying groceries or spending to pay the bills and whatnot, your hard-earned salary each and every month that you decide to kind of want to be experimental and use a cryptocurrency, in this case maybe Bitcoin Cash or even Bitcoin, you are an innocent party. You are truly an innocent party because you really wanted to see whether this whole ecosystem works. Look, from a technological standpoint, it does work. It is relatively secure. But however, at the end of the day, you're not going to be happy when you topped up your wallet with whatever hard-earned cash, fiat cash from your job, and the next thing you know, 50%, 30% just evaporates from your wallet, and you didn't even spend it. This is the worst kind of product that I have seen in many, many years. Really the worst kind. This, in my opinion, is a complete failure. Now, if you're going to argue from a technical standpoint that, from a tech standpoint, everything works, I cannot argue with that because I'm someone who is not a developer, neither am I involved in the mining business. But what I see right now, which is now my conspiracy theory, is that miners, especially the bigger ones, are trying to push out the smaller players. Okay, this is my very first conspiracy theory. Why is that so? Right now, Bitcoin Cash is really just full of theatrics. If you really had an issue, Craig, okay, with Roger Ver or Jihan, you can settle it internally. You can really just settle everything internally. You don't have to start making this public. And Roger kind of like is setting the stage for everything, because to me, Roger is purely a businessman from the very beginning. Yes, you have to have a vision, you have to get people on board with your idea. But at the end of the day, look at what is happening at the moment. And now you're crying wolf, right? Because you feel that Craig kind of tricked you in some sense. I'm like, look, you guys came in together on board with the whole idea to create Bitcoin Cash, but you still have a majority in terms of the mining power on the hash rate on the main Bitcoin network. So you know that, okay, Bitcoin network is completely not, it's not able to fulfill its function as a currency. It has now been established as a store of value. You notice that a lot of institutions and infrastructure is being built around Bitcoin. So you know that, okay, this is valuable. But I still want to serve the purpose of Satoshi's vision, that it's a currency for everybody, social inclusion, financial inclusion, and then you create the utility coin. Well, at least for a bit, the utility coin, Bitcoin Cash. But now, not only have you proven that it's a flop, you are now just manipulating the whole ecosystem, screwing up Bitcoin as well. And obviously now people are looking at it as it's no longer a store of value. Miners are obviously, especially the ones who have come on board later, are now figuring out, how can I hedge from this current risk? How do I keep up for the fact that I'm losing money day after day in terms of electricity costs, just mining Bitcoins, but I'm having very, very poor margins. Now, obviously, I think if you go to Coindance, it is still more profitable to mine Bitcoin as opposed to Bitcoin Cash. So from that standpoint, as long as there's demand, because the OTC market, which is my second theory, right? The OTC market is actually still moving the whole, is having the most volume. And with current suppressed prices, okay, which is the second thing, it's not about OTC just buying, but what are they buying for? So my customers, as miners, right, my customers are those that are renting my hashing power to support their blockchain network. That's one. Two, that's one revenue stream. The other is obviously to sell my Bitcoins, right, to institutions, market makers, exchanges, hedge funds. These are my clients. As long as the prices are favorable, right? And obviously, we have known for quite some time that at $6,000 per Bitcoin, the buying has been furious. So imagine now when Bitcoin prices are even lower, a lot of things start to happen in terms of a ripple effect. You're going to have ICO projects and crypto funds, unlicensed crypto funds, and of course, ICO projects that are not registered with SEC, starting to get letters from SEC, and at the same time, even the funds or crypto funds are starting to receive letters from various financial governing bodies, right? Because you didn't have the license to run an exchange, or so exchanges also are getting it as well. So exchanges, I think we recently saw Ether Delta just got fined 300,000. I think that's peanuts, by the way, which obviously I would just quietly pay and not kick up a fuss about it because it's business as usual. Then comes the ICO projects that are deemed as securities. Those are going to be shitting in their pants because I think one raised, I think it was Paragon and the other one was some other. Anyway, it really doesn't matter what's the name, guys. So as long as you promised a so-called return that you're going to be traded on the secondary market, or you're going to offer or you're going to show that you're offering some kind of appreciation in your token, that's it. You already deemed the security. So that was pretty dumb from their standpoint, because if you claim that you are a utility token, you shouldn't be talking about anything with regards to a return or whatever. There should be no talks about it, because you are obviously having, you can have revenue in the future, right? Not discounting that, but you're going to want to do it much later. And therefore, you're going to see this whole space start to evolve. From my internal sources that I obviously cannot put out and show, the money movement is going towards STO. It's a guarantee. Okay, it's a guarantee. So next year onwards, you're going to see a lot of that infrastructure start to pop out. So we have quite a number of exchanges and getting approvals from Malta. There will be folks that, exchanges that will be popping out. I think you're already seeing one or two already starting to emerge with the Malta license. Now, that is one of the key aspects that's probably going to drive the market. Now, is this whole current cryptocurrency market going to die big time? Unfortunately, I do not want to be the bringer of bad news, but unfortunately, yes. Because right now, you're seeing for the fact that a lot of all these projects are already starting to liquidate their existing BTC or Ethereum holdings. So that's a given, especially in the next few months, their operational costs, rental, and everything like that is going to continue, right? Because it's not like, oh, Bitcoin price goes down, I pay you less. Everybody came on board with a contract with fiat. Okay, let's just be very honest. There will be some pro crypto projects that will hold everything because they are true believers, or they were very transparent about kind of showing that they are holding Ethereum, their Ethereum holdings or their BTC holdings. I think those are projects that at least try to be as transparent, but they are getting the short end of the stick right now. So it is quite a shame. I am sure there are projects that are going to be really, they are going to do well. But unfortunately, if they run out of money due to this current scenario where every time whatever they raise prior and the value just keeps dropping and dropping and dropping, and if they didn't really find a liquidity provider to help them hedge when it was maybe 10,000 and above for BTC, or when Ethereum was above $500, a lot are going to be in trouble. So this is the reality that's happening. So this is also causing a huge suppression in the market. As you can see, Ethereum is now below $150. I've already been very bearish about Ethereum for a very long time. I've not even talked about Ethereum. I don't even bother to talk about Ethereum. Not saying that Ethereum isn't real or they don't have the largest mind share. Not saying that. It's just that the price shouldn't be there. And even Vitalik has already commented that it shouldn't be astronomical prices. And now you're seeing BTC going below 5,000. Just like that. It just breached the whole $5,000 support level, and there's no support. Honestly, at this point, there is no support for BTC, guys. Don't think there is one. So if we look at the BTC charts, okay, at the moment, BTC USD, let's just look at Bitstamp. It doesn't really matter. You see, right now, right, whatever that you want to look at, RSI, Fibonacci, your golden ratio, whatever you want to look at, okay, if you ask me, the real support comes at $1,000. It's true. It's like, look, it was the quietest period at that point of time back in March of 2017, $1,000, right? That's the true support, because if you look at this, right, and you look at this, these are so short periods of time. Okay, this was maybe June to June to July, 1 month. So it's not. It's a different market already. It's a different scenario that we're having at the moment. With so much confusion, you're seeing the infrastructure being built and the demand coming from the institutions. It's real, by the way. That's real, okay? I'm not saying that that's not real. That's real, right? And BARC, honestly, right, can only do so much, because at the end of the day, sure, they're going to have to want to own some Bitcoins, an X amount of Bitcoin, so that they can have physical delivery to their AI and sophisticated customers. And apparently there's going to be a retail version of it. I don't know. I'm really very curious to see how it's all going to play out. So maybe you're going to see a little bit of a bounce. Hopefully at least it goes back to 6K and kind of stays there. But I'm not going to be too optimistic, to be very honest. And right now, a lot of the projects that are doing well, that have a solid business, an MVP and everything, are being punished because of this market. So what happens to them? What happens to them? So they would have to have a very strong financial team and treasury management, which I'm quite aware that there are companies that are already able to do that. They have already kind of hedged quite a while back. So they were quite smart. They kind of anticipated how much they needed for the next 3 to 5 years, and then they hedged out. So those projects are kind of good, but don't expect their tokens to really fly, because if the tokens really so-called fly, it will be because Bitcoin actually recovered. They are not going to be investing money into market making. So the rest of the other projects that occasionally get listed and there's some kind of volume happening, those will usually have some level of market making where you get to enjoy some kind of a pump, and then more or less you're out already. You won't really see that happen. You're going to see all the very fast hockey sticks, right? The J curve, the hockey sticks, and then after that you're going to see a flat line. So pretty much the whole space is going to be like that. This is pretty popular with stocks, right? Stocks that are not too prominent. They tend to just want to list to help the ICO, the IPO early investors or angel investors to cash out. But more or less, you're going to see the J curve, and then after that, the hockey stick. The J curve, and then after that, you're going to see the very sharp consolidation down, just like what you're experiencing and seeing right now. Okay, so this is really the scenario. So how do we approach this, Ryan? Okay, long story short, how are we going to approach this? So you've already highlighted your conspiracies. Great. Miners want to get pushed out. Institutions are still buying Bitcoin. And by the way, that's all real. They are also making, by the way, and just to add, they are also making a premium no matter whatever the market scenario, because they have institutional accounts, right, on these exchanges, and they usually buy below spot because they're buying at in terms of like a monthly contract or something like that, or weekly contract, or even a daily contract. So they have an average price. So obviously there will be a few contingency plans. One, they will be holding an X amount of Bitcoin when the time comes. And by the way, these folks, you don't have to worry too much about them. They have the cash to hold the Bitcoins at a certain price. Unfortunately, whatever you're seeing right now could also be due to, there were theories about Tether, USD Tether, that a large part of this whole market was propped up by Tether. I think that one is quite a long ago history or topic. So that could be one of the reasons as well. But anyway, what do we do now in this market? So we have to really ask ourselves, right? Why do we want to own Bitcoin? Right? We really have to ask ourselves, why do we want to own Bitcoin? Is Bitcoin going to be the store of value? Do we still want to use it, or you can use it in your country extensively, that it makes sense for you to hold it, right? That's why you're going to be dollar cost averaging and buying more. Or if you anticipate that the price is going to continue to really fall to $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $2,000, $1,000, then you shouldn't be buying now, right? Because you already have a theory in your head already. And the question is, why should you be buying now? You shouldn't. If you believe that it's going to go down, you shouldn't really. But if you're going to believe that when the halving happens, which is 2020, apparently in May or June 2020, and you truly feel that, hey, this space could really still be something else, because historically it has happened where there were peaks and there were troughs, right? When there were peaks and there were troughs, and sometimes the troughs would last, for more than 2 years, right? So as you can see, this is when it happened, and then after that you have this very quiet period. So you see, wait, no, this is not the time. I think I want to show, yes, okay. So this is, 2013. So 2013, imagine, right? Let's say you were someone in 2013. So you bought here when Bitcoin was $100, right? Bitcoin was $100, and it did exactly whatever it did back in 2017. It went up to 20,000. So kind of the same thing, okay? So at that time, there's also not much infrastructure. There's no institutions looking at anything other than the exchanges. Those, I wouldn't consider them institutions. Those were like, they didn't even know what was going on. They just created an exchange. So this kind of happened, but after that, it was a consistent decline. Okay? And this decline lasted for how long? So 2014 all the way until, somewhat of movement in 2016. So 2 years. So the question is, right now, if this happens, right? If this happens, And it does last for 2 years. And the question is, will it last for 2 years? Being that there's so much things happening now in comparison to 2013, 2014, right? Because there's much more things happening at the moment. Will that still be the case? Okay, so that is the question you have to ask yourself. So why am I asking you these questions? So that you can reflect. What's your risk profile? What's your time horizon? Why are you intending to invest in this space if you still want to? And at the same time, why do you even want to have cryptocurrency in your existing portfolio? You need to ask yourself all these questions, because if you don't ask yourself all these questions, right, and you're just buying blindly, right, because you don't understand the space, right, and you're just seeing for the fact that, oh, okay, from where it was initially 20,000, then it became 10, then it became 8, then it became 7, and it became 6, and now it's 4. So if you feel that obviously right now you are able to dedicate a certain X amount of money, like $100 a week or something like that, just so that you are now able to pick it up cheap, it truly is cheaper, okay, in comparison to where it was. But bear in mind, if the bear market lasts for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, are you still cool with buying it at that price? And I feel that the folks that kind of commit and buy 0.01 to 0.02, 0.03, those folks, right, don't really feel as much of a pinch compared to if you are someone who buys 1 to 2, 3, 4 Bitcoins. Now, obviously, if you are someone who can buy 1, 2, 3, 4 Bitcoins per week or per month, obviously you're a different kind of net worth already. So maybe in relevance, it's okay for you, right? But I don't see that a lot of folks are able to kind of buy one whole Bitcoin even until now, even though it's very attractive, you see? So we have to look at the grand scheme of things and the grand scale of things. And with the Bitcoin network always having these issues and arguments and indecisiveness with all the miners, right? It's not really all the miners. It's just a few people just influencing the rest. Trust me when I say this, everybody just wants to make money. It's all about power. It's all about who has control, who has influence. It's really all about that. So as long as you kind of understand that this is a very huge game, you ask yourself, do you want to play? Do you want to play? Then you have to put on your big boy pants and put on your thinking hats, because this is on another level. Now, obviously, if you're someone who just wants to close your eyes and contribute every month, then it's pretty straightforward already. But why would you want to keep doing that unless you feel that, okay, this is really it already? I feel that this is probably the bottom that you can go already. But that was what everyone thought at this point. This was what everyone was thinking at this point. November is like, God, oh my God, it's already the last month. Give us a break. And then this happens. So when I look at everything that's happening, I really want to laugh, you know. It's like you could never, like, this whole year, we don't have a chance, guys. We don't have a chance. So look at things from a longer term perspective, and at the same time, know one thing for sure, that yes, money is really being spent. My Singapore, right, has already invested in quite a number of Bitcoin and blockchain related companies already. Now, obviously, they're not interested in the tokens, okay? They are in it for equity. So maybe this is the kind of a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. With the emergence of STOs and STO exchanges, all this nonsense will go away. Although a lot of us have probably lost money in this space, but going forward, right, at least there is a framework. You will obviously have to provide proper KYC. It's not it may not be as socially inclusive already, but at the end of the day, you are protected to a certain extent, okay? And yeah, I mean, I think I only see it as a benefit. I don't see it as a retracement, because after all that has happened, the low accountability of projects, there's no obligations to give any kind of returns or have any kind of growth or even sustain the tokens in any manner. Yeah, I mean, who is to say that tomorrow, you see, this particular project just just says, hey guys, I'm really sorry. We have already tried our best to make this project work, but because of the burn rate meaning operational costs, R&D costs and whatnot, and at the same time with the heavy depreciation of the market, we really have to close off the project. What we can do for you, if they even have the integrity, is to return what remains, which I find is quite pointless. Okay, so folks, this is the reality. We have to just quickly come to terms with it and move on, and hopefully that with the new infrastructure that's coming to play, I think each and everyone's country is having more and more insight about blockchain and cryptocurrencies, and there are certain countries that are more receptive and maybe even going to leapfrog in terms of the adoption, the technology, the receptiveness. Yeah, maybe you're going to be faster than Singapore. I don't know. But hey, this is just my thoughts, and I just wanted to share this with you, and I hope that you guys stay safe, and of course, obviously, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to click on the notification bell so that you will always be able to see the next live stream. See you guys!